In this episode, I take a tour of our rental in Montezuma and explain some of the regular maintenance required living in Costa Rica. Unlike suburban neighborhoods in North America, the jungle ecosystem is in a rapid cycle of production and decomposition, making the maintenance of homes and property a full-time job. Join me as I break down some of the most common problems you can experience when living in Costa Rica. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, let's get into the adventure.
Today is Tuesday, May the 17th, 2022, and we're out here on the Nicoya Peninsula in an undisclosed location, and it is Cribs makeover edition over here. We've been living in this house for approximately 1 year, and since we've been here, the house has done nothing but serve us, take care of the family, give us all the things that we need, provide us with security and all those additional things right out here in the jungle. But with anything else, the jungle is relentless and it requires maintenance. And so the owner of the home, who is so gracious to let me rent this beautiful space, is going to be doing some repairs that are essential. And I'm going to go ahead and look at those repairs and see how they're going to help to prolong the life of this home so that it won't run into really costly repairs in the future. So let's check it out. The entryway to the house, you can see some of the damage to the concrete. Just over time, this edge has eroded, and now that could be a tripping hazard and eventually is going to compromise the stability of the foundation of the home, which we do not want. Over here we have a little bit of erosion, but these plants have helped to maintain the slope pretty good. Been doing a little bit of gardening, just trying to beautify the space. Just a little pruning goes a long way. But the first thing we're going to look at is this little wall that's at the front of the home. So the front of the home looks out into the jungle, which is an amazing view. However, due to erosion and these rain gutters that are coming off of the roof, anytime those are full, the water falls right down, and over time, the amount of rain we get here in Costa Rica, it's worn this wall down. And so all of these plants I've planted over the last year just to try to maintain the slope in a natural way, just to absorb some of that water, terrace it, slow it down, for the objective of making sure we don't erode the foundation of the home, which is gonna be catastrophic in the future. So, and this is the wall that needs to be repaired. All of these are blocks, retaining wall blocks that I've made this path over the last year from the wall here that has fallen. So I've repurposed this. This used to be a slope, you'll see from those old videos, but now it has become a little garden pathway. And we have this final part of the wall here that has come off. A lot of it is this giant mountain avocado tree, which is huge and has delicious fruit. However, the roots come under the wall and into the septic system and have definitely compromised the stability of this wall. So fortunately, we're going to address it so that we don't have any more of this erosion, because we don't want to see underneath the house. That would be bad. Once this goes away, so does the house. And as we come to the top, you can see the view of this wall that is disappearing. So obviously I have two small children. This poses an immediate tripping threat, but you can somehow look past it with the views that we get. These amazing views make you forget it. This is where the septic tank is. We have this extra apparatus here, this small structure to move water away, because as I had mentioned, during the rainy season when these canoas or the rain gutters get full of leaves and debris, the water overflows from the canoas, lands down here, softens this dirt, which has led to erosion as well as this wall. So they're going to be building a retaining wall here that has some drainage built in. They're going to use a lot of piedra or a lot of rock to make sure that the wall drains well and it doesn't compromise the actual wall itself. So more plantings along this little jungle path that I made. I started going down into the jungle with just reusable materials and old pieces of wood and MDF and things that I'm just trying to keep here on site and use what I have, as well as all the other organic material we're laying here back to just slow the flow of water. That is our goal living here on this montaña. And back here is our bodega. So the bodega, we've seen this before, is kind of like our garage. So we have also water coming off of the roof here with no canoas. So it kind of runs around the bodega, which makes this a naturally wet area. And so I've started to just plant some different plants to help with the erosion and be able to absorb some of this water to again slow it. So we have a pretty rudimentary laundry room, but it's a laundry room. I'm super stoked that we have this. This is a really nice feature. And this was just left over from the previous tenants, so it's not in great shape, but I put it back together and está funcionado, so it's super bien for me. Super good. So this is the bodega. So the bodega is where we would store our bicycles, any other equipment. And so this is where we're having a lot of leakage. So you can see through here, there's a lot of holes. And this is all termite damage. So there were termites living in here and it is totally eating the structure away. So all of this metal needs to be replaced so that we don't have water pulling in here and creatures living in here. But the structure is still in great shape. Probably clean up the floor, maybe add a little paint, beautify it. So as you can see here, this is one of the most important elements of this remodel, or refresh, you'll call it that. This fuse box is very antiquated and is not providing a safe barrier to all of the electrical challenges we have here in Costa Rica. I think we really need to have a safe breaker. This is the kids' room on the other side, and this also, as you can see, has riddled with termite damage. So this wood is essentially gone. It's just not even there anymore. So that's not really provided. If a spark gets in there, it's gonna be a tender box. So those are some of the big things that we need to address right away with the house that could cause long-term problems. Harboring any environment that's gonna get these termites in the house is gonna damage any of the wood structures, and termites move really fast here. Just over the course of a couple weeks over the holidays, they got in from the bodega into our house and they were eating one of our bunk beds. So that is how quickly they act, and when they have new food and are looking for something and are hungry, they're going to be able to go through concrete or any other materials to get to that food source. So the goal here with the bodega is to really do a refresh, repair the roofs, and make sure that we can use that as a clean storage space. And you know what? It can also possibly be used as an extra bedroom in a pinch. The same thing, the house does not look that much different from when we moved in about a year ago. We've made some enhancements, I'm using some of the pre-existing shelving, getting it off of the floor. As you can see, this is a no shame tour right now that was impromptu, which is why I have all the furniture appropriately arranged. The table still served us well. Continue to move the dog crates around because anything that sits for an extended period of time tends to collect a lot of dog hair and dust and all kinds of stuff. So we try to just keep things moving around so we can keep the floor clean. Recently moved the kids out here from the bedroom. With the electrical breaker being right next to the kids' wall, we just did not want to take the chance. And so we moved them out here into what was the office or living room area. And they actually like it because the ceilings are much higher and Kingston isn't so close to the ceiling, because that wasn't really working out for them. And so going into the last room, and this is the room that we have big concerns about, because this is where we had termites coming in, and you can see I'm still battling termites in some particular areas. There's like some signs of termites here on the wall. There's some on the floor too. Like you can see these trails, and if we go outside, you can see where they've actually burrowed through the concrete in order to get into the wood. And so this is the bodega on the other side of this wall. And you can see that there are definitely termite tracks. They were trying to make a termite trail to eat the wood in all of this frame, and I don't know, this frame seems to be pretty sturdy, but many of these are in really bad shape. Look at that, there's a mosquito. So the biggest problem in this room is the ceiling. Yeah, that's right, the ceiling. So the ceiling in this room is actually falling or caving in because the beams that support the ceiling actually have been eaten by all of those termites. Because above us in this room is a crawl space or an attic where there's a lot of the infrastructure for the home, as well as the beams, the wood beams that support the ceilings in each of the rooms. Because all of those beams have been eaten through by termites, this is what happens to our ceiling now. So we're getting there's a gentle sag in the ceiling, and it's kind of hard to picture on the video. I don't know if it's depicting it well, but there's a gentle sag. You can really see it here by the light fixture. There's a gentle sag in the roof because all of these strips of wood are actually the beams. So they've used these strips of wood to cover the screws to make it look a little prettier. Now, as far as the kitchen goes, it's actually primarily cosmetic. The kitchen is quite functional, mostly issues with the tile in different places throughout the house. So all I need to do is just really cut and mount some new tiles up here and replace the grout, because the grout here looks really old. So we're gonna either have to steam clean that, or we're gonna have to use some new grout and cover some of that up after it's cleaned properly. In much of these areas with the grout, there's actually a lot of ants or hormigas, and they come out of these little cracks, so that they are really a nuisance because they're not coming from a line outside of a window. They're actually just right there coming through the cracks of the tile, which is really quite annoying. Makes it kind of a pain when you just want to put foods on the counter and the ants just are voracious and just eat through everything. I mean, these ants are really just eating our olive oil. I'm like, I didn't even know ants liked oil, but apparently they do in Costa Rica. So that's a quick walkthrough of some of the big projects that we have to do, big infrastructure projects that could lead to problems down the road. So I'm gonna keep you up to speed on all of these projects as they unfold, because the two primary things that I'm trying to do is reduce my costs and increase the return on investment. So beautifying this home, making sure this home has longevity and can continue to serve the family into the future, but also the beautification. It's just really taking advantage of this natural environment, growing food, and trying to do the most with the resources we have at our disposal so we can try to reach some type of harmony or balance with the planet. So I'm gonna get back at you, but for now I need to get back to work, and our talleres are gonna come back so that they can get to work on all these issues. So we'll go ahead and do some videos and we'll catch up with you later.
As luck would have it, today we're going to get started on the retaining wall, and it is raining. Today has been one of the most consistent rainy days that we've had so far this rainy season, but it's not deterring the workers from getting started on this project and getting this retaining wall underway. So the first thing is cleaning out all of these roots, los raíces. There's a whole bunch of roots here, so we need to dig the base under the wall, get rid of all these roots, so that they are not compromising the wall. Hey. Los raíces grandes. Managed to get the tree stump out and dig the base for the retaining wall. So just about an hour and got that done. The rain just keeps falling. Lluvia. It is getting darker by the minute. The lluvia is continuing to fall. Getting workings here on the skeleton of the pared, the wall. Esta pared aquí. Putting a formed concrete wall right here. Alright, the wall is now taking shape. La pared. At the base, and you just have to go un poco a poco, a little bit by a little bit, to get the wall completed. Otherwise, all of this cement and rock dust. So don't use sand. They're not mixing the cement with sand, but it's with rock dust. Polvo de piedra. This is going to be a nice transition out to our little view here. But it is going to be a little dangerous. I thought there was going to be a little bit of a lip here to put some plants or something. So it's going to kind of slide down, but like this little infinity view. All right, so day number 2, and completed the work. Now the whole wall, la pared, concreto, they're all along the top too, so there's no water going into the septic system. Because we're having water drip down here and get into the septic, so now this is all concrete, so the water will run off down below. So I'll have to make sure that it's landscaped down there because the water will be moving a lot faster down this concrete area, so I'll just have to secure the bottom area with plants so there's no erosion down there. But otherwise, this is a finished product. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Free Range Squad. Until our next adventure, pura vida.